Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS, presenting to you the daily quiz for 31st of January 2022. Let us begin and have a look at the first question for today. Which of the given statements with respect to National Commission for Women is or are correct? Number 1, it is the constitutional body established to review the constitutional and legal safeguards for women. Number 2, while investigating and examining the matters relating to the safeguards provided for women under the Constitution, it enjoys the powers of a civil court. Number 3, its chairperson and member secretary are nominated by the central government and both must only be women. What is the context? This PIB article here today talks about the 30th National Commission for Women Foundation Day program, and hence we've taken this question. Pause the video, take a moment to mark your answer and let me know in the comments section how many you could get right. Now let us discuss the question. The National Commission for Women was set up in the year 1992 under the National Commission for Women Act of 1990. And this was established to review the constitutional and legal safeguards for women, correct. But is it a constitutional body? No, it is a statutory body. So statement number 1 becomes incorrect. What does this National Commission for Women do? It recommends the remedial legislative measures in matters concerning women. It advises the government on all policy matters affecting women, and also it facilitates redressal of grievances. And in investigating and examining the matters that are related to the safeguards that are provided for women under the Indian Constitution, this body enjoys all the powers of a civil court. So statement number 2 becomes correct. Now coming to statement 3. Yes, its chairperson and member secretary are nominated by the central government, correct. But it is not a mandate that both these posts have to be held by women only. So statement number 3 becomes incorrect. So the right answer to our question would be option D, 2 only. The task for you for today is to let me know the composition of National Commission for Women. How many members does it have? Let me know in the comment section. Moving on to question number 2. Which of the following pairs is or are correctly matched? We have bird sanctuaries and the state that they are present in. Number 1, Kulik Bird Sanctuary, Odisha. Number 2, Kitam Bird Sanctuary, West Bengal. Number 3, Ariyakulam Bird Sanctuary, Tamil Nadu. Number 4, Rangantittu Bird Sanctuary, Karnataka. What is the context? This article in the Hindu newspaper today has a reference to the Kulik Bird Sanctuary. And the article states how the water bodies in the state of West Bengal have become safe havens for migratory birds that fly from Himalayan and Central Asian highlands. The presence of these water bodies in the state makes it easier for the birds to find food, and that is why they migrate in large numbers here. Also, it is important for us to take note of such important places that are in news. Now coming back to the question. We just discussed that Kulik Bird Sanctuary is in West Bengal, so number 1 becomes incorrect. Kitam Bird Sanctuary is located in Sikkim and not in West Bengal. So this also becomes incorrect. Pair 3 is correctly matched. Ariyakulam Bird Sanctuary is in Tamil Nadu. Number 4, Rangantittu Bird Sanctuary is situated near the banks of river Kaveri in Karnataka. Also, it is known as Pakshi Kashi of Karnataka. So number 4 is also correct. Therefore, the right answer to our question would be option C, 3 and 4 only. Now let us take up the third question for the day. Consider the following statements with respect to Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. The scheme is a revamped version of the scheme for agro-marine processing and development of agro-processing clusters. Number 2, Ministry of Food Processing Industries is the nodal ministry for implementation of the scheme. Number 3, it aims to bring about blue revolution in India and is completely a central sector scheme. Which of the given statements is or are incorrect? What is the context? There is this article in the PIB today which talks about the increase in exports of marine products, and this article has a reference to the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, and hence we've taken this question. Now coming to the first statement in the question. At the first glance, it might seem like this is a right statement, but it is not. The revised name of Scheme for Agro-Marine Processing and Development of Agro-Processing Clusters is Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana and not Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. Therefore, number 1 becomes incorrect. See, the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana was a scheme that was introduced by the Ministry of Food Processing Industries to create modern infrastructures with efficient supply chain management. And this scheme was introduced to ensure that the farm produce reaches from the farm gates to the retail outlets efficiently. Now coming to statement number 2. The Department of Fisheries under the Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying is implementing this flagship scheme called as the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. And hence statement number 2 also becomes incorrect. Why was this Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana introduced? It was introduced to bring about a blue revolution through sustainable and responsible development of fisheries sector in India. And it is as a result of such schemes that there is an increase in the export of marine products, as we've seen in the PIB article here today. And the estimated investment in this scheme is rupees 20,050 crore for a period of 5 years from the year 2020 and 21 to the financial year 2024 and 25. Now coming to statement number 3. There are two components to this particular scheme, and that is the central sector scheme and the centrally sponsored scheme. And it is not a completely central sector scheme. Therefore, statement number 3 also becomes incorrect. Therefore, the right answer to our question would be option C, 1, 2 and 3, because the question is asking us for incorrect statements. If you wish to know more about this scheme, you can watch the Fact of the Day segment of 4th of August 2021. The link will appear on the top right corner of your screens. Moving on to question number 4. SilverLine Project, often seen in news, is option A, a dedicated freight corridor connecting Dakuni in West Bengal and Ludhiana in Punjab. Option B, a railway corridor between Rameshwaram-Manamadurai stretch in Tamil Nadu, wherein the trains are equipped with bio-toilets to ensure zero discharge of human waste on the railway tracks. Option C, a high-speed rail corridor connecting Mumbai in Maharashtra with Ahmedabad in Gujarat. Option D, a semi-high-speed railway corridor connecting Thiruvananthapuram and Kasaragod. What is the context? There is a reference to Kerala's SilverLine Project in the Indian Express newspaper today, and hence we've taken this question. See, the SilverLine corridor comprises of semi-high-speed trains between the two corners of the state of Kerala, that is between Thiruvananthapuram and Kasaragod. And this particular project has been facing massive protests. To understand the concerns associated with this project and why it has been facing massive protests, watch the Fact of the Day segment of 23rd December 2021. The link will appear on the top right corner of your screen. So the right answer to our question here would be option D. Now let us take up a previous year question from Prelims paper 2021. With reference to the water on the planet Earth, consider the following statements. Number 1, the amount of water in the rivers and lakes is more than the amount of groundwater. Number 2, the amount of water in polar ice caps and glaciers is more than the amount of groundwater. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? One thing we must know here is that this question was asked straight out of NCERT books, showing the importance of NCERT books in your preparation. Now coming to the question. Of the total water available on Earth, 97% is in the ocean, 2% in the ice caps, 0.68% as groundwater, 0.009% in lakes, and 0.0001% in rivers. So looking at statement number 1 and looking at the figures here, we see that the groundwater is more than lakes and rivers combined. Therefore, statement number 1 becomes incorrect. But the amount of water in polar ice caps and glaciers is more than the amount of groundwater. Correct? Therefore, statement number 2 becomes correct. Therefore, the right answer to our question would be option B, 2 only. Now let us take up the fact of the day for today. Nord Stream pipeline. This article is from the text and context segment in the Hindu newspaper today. But what is the context? The Nord Stream pipeline is in the news now because of the renewed tensions between the West and Russia over Ukraine. Before we get into the details, first let us understand what this Nord Stream pipeline is. See, the Nord Stream pipeline is the longest subsea pipeline, which is an export gas pipeline, and this runs under the Baltic Sea, carrying gas from Russia to Europe. Right? The Nord Stream consists of two pipelines. Nord Stream 1, which was completed in the year 2011, and Nord Stream 2, which was completed in September 2021. And here you must take note that in Germany, the pipeline connects to Opal and the North European natural gas pipeline, which further connects to European grid. These two can together transport a total of 110 billion cubic meters of gas in a year. And these pipelines are owned by the Russian energy giant Gazprom. Another thing we must take note is that the Nord Stream crosses the exclusive economic zones of several different countries such as Russia, Finland, Sweden, Denmark and Germany. And also it crosses the territorial waters of Russia, Denmark and Germany. Why is this Nord Stream pipeline important for Europe? See, about 40% of the gas requirements of Europe comes from Russia. And in the past few years, Europe has become more and more dependent on gas imports because there is a decrease in the domestic gas production. And reducing dependence on Russian gas is difficult because there are no easy replacements for Europe. Now, talking about Germany, Germany needs this pipeline because of its transition to cleaner fuels. It is phasing out nuclear power and cutting reliance on coal, and therefore its dependence on Russian gas has increased. Another point why it is important for Europe is because many European businesses have also a large investment in Nord Stream 2. So now if there is a reduction of gas from Russia, it would lead to an increase in already high gas prices, which would be a disaster. Why is this Nord Stream pipeline important for Russia? We know that Russia has the largest natural gas reserves in the world, and around 40% of its budget comes from the sale of gas and oil. And Nord Stream 2 is important because it removes the risk that is related with sending the gas through the transit countries. It can save the transit fees. Also, this pipeline gives Russia direct access to its most important European customer, which is Germany. Another obvious point is that it increases Europe's dependence on Russia while giving it a reliable customer. Now we've seen why Nord Stream pipeline is important to Europe and Russia. Let us discuss what are the issues with respect to this pipeline. See, the main strategic objection to this pipeline is from the US. Why? Because US believes that this will make Europe too dependent on Russia, and eventually it fears that Russia's influence in Europe will increase. And its major concern is that Russia could use it as a geopolitical weapon. The other objection is by Ukraine. Ukraine's concern is that it will lose around $2 billion of transit fees when the pipeline becomes operational. Similarly, Poland and Belarus also object this because they too will lose transit fees. Are these the only concerns? No. Ukraine has another concern. Ukraine believes that so long as the Russian gas transits through Ukraine, Russia will not cause instability in Ukraine. And also, the environmentalists argue that this does not fit with German efforts to cut dependence on fossil fuels and fight the climate change. So, is this functional now? No, it has not yet started operating because Germany says it does not comply with the German law and it has suspended its approval. And also, it is waiting for the approval from European Commission. And in the light of tensions over Ukraine, the US has said it will stop the Nord Stream if Russia attacks Ukraine. So the fate of this $11 billion pipeline is yet to be decided. That is all for today. Thank you for being with us. Keep watching and keep learning.